All right, we'll try again. Give it another good old try, since it loves to give me technical difficulty as soon as I start heating up. As soon as I start really getting in tune with self. It seems that I always get these technical difficulties. So, we'll try again. The prompt tonight: your eternal trajectory is entirely up to you. The game is rigged to be bad on purpose, and all external influences are designed to lead us back here. That's what it's for. Everything in the external is designed to move our internal being back to here. So, to completely do away with the idea that anything done or not done here has any type of effect on what you can do and what you can choose, that's the entirety of the fallacy. That's the entirety of the illusion. That somehow you're responsible for a scripted reality that you didn't write, a scripted life that you didn't write anything about. And if you did, you don't remember it, and that's kind of suspect in and of itself now, isn't it? Eric, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Yeah, we're just talking about it tonight. We're talking all about it. Talking about the NPCs. See a lot of videos on TikTok about how to get more viewers, and I'd like to learn how to get less viewers. I don't need the hive mind controlled agents, the NPCs, the bots that are programmed from the external reality to be here. I just don't need them. And it's funny, I say that as they just pour in. I really like to talk with the real ones, the ones that have had the integrity and the authenticity to be so brutally honest about what they're experiencing and witnessing here, that they've realized that there is no good excuse for it. There's no good excuse. There's a lot of bullshit propaganda excuses for why things are the way they are, but none of it adds up when under the scrutiny of pure observation of pattern. You observe the pattern and you see, hold on a second, all patterns reveal the purpose of anything through the effect that it's having. The regenerated, over and over, repeated effect, if it's doing it over and over again, that's the purpose. And you look at this reality, learning and growing sure falls short. This being anything other than what it appears to be, it's amazing that it's right there in front of all of us. But the deception of belief is so good at masking what's right there, what's all around us. The fact that this reality is based off rewarding predatory behavior. Whoever can cause the most misery and anguish reaps the greatest rewards. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. That is an intentional design. So again, your eternal trajectory, where you go and what you choose to do, be, experience, and create after this has zero to do with this experience. It is your choice. And anything external will only ever guide any of us back to here, back to a memory wipe, back to a system of harvest and collection, compression, and theft of our energy. That's what it is. You look at the resets, right? You look further you go back, the more advanced the architecture was and the way of transportation, right? The stuff that we can uncover that hasn't been completely erased. We find that they were doing things a lot more efficiently and intelligently. And then as we go forward, things seem to degrade. Even in our lifetime, we can see that cars used to last longer. Houses used to be built better. Why is that? It's not just money. It's about data, information, energy. In order to project this reality, it takes energy. And this being an entropic system based on degradation over time, like in the image of what is sustaining, maintaining, and pseudo-creating it, because it's not really creating it. It's just harvesting energy and projecting based on what's already been created. It's not a creative entity that's running the show here. If it was, we would see expansion, not degradation. Things would only get better over time because it would be a co-creative experience. That's not what's being observed or experienced. We're actually falling deeper and deeper into slavery and bondage as a species, as a whole. There isn't more freedom now than there was 1,000 years ago. The architecture alone reveals that. Why is that? It's because the entities that run this show get better at one thing and one thing only: suppression, compression, and theft. They suppress the truth through memory wipes, through muddy waters, through distractions, through bread and circuses. They compress our energy into a bandwidth that is easily controlled and harvested, and then they steal it. That's what it is in a nutshell. And to the degree in which you violate the right of another, you forfeit those rights for yourself. So when you look at an entity that's created a reality based solely on the theft of energy of other beings, how much of themselves do you think they forfeit? The entirety of their right to exist at all in any reality. And that's what it is so afraid of the mass recognition of. That A, we aren't these bodies, right? We go on after them, which means we came before them, which means that we have actually very little to do with what we see in the mirror as our eternal being. And then what? Well, if I'm not this, how did I get here? How did this all happen? This doesn't seem like something I would choose to create or share an experience of with those that I love. So how did this happen? Oh, something is benefiting from it. That's how it happened. There's something benefiting from every aspect of this place, because everything here is on purpose. There is no accident to the formula. The formula is playing out and repeating in patterns for an intended effect. That effect being what we're all experiencing. You look at the lifespan of the average human, they go from a creative, compassionate, sharing individual, open to the world, right? And slowly get beat down, wore out. What is that? They integrate with the false. They integrate with a world that's not for them. Each and every one of us have done it. We've all integrated in some way or another with something that was not authentic to the core of our being. What does that do? That compresses our will. The willpower, keyword being power, is what defines our ability to choose our own trajectory and make our own decisions, and if need be, stand up for ourselves and say the lost word. The simple word that so many don't know how to fully say deep within their being. No. Instead, we've all accepted slavery on every level. Why? Because we have Stockholm Syndrome. Because we've been tricked into misidentifying with a temporal experience instead of the authentic eternal beings that each of us are. Now, in order to get to that point, there is a lot of conditioning, a lot of planning, a lot of premeditation that had to go into an effort to make this place what it is. It's not a fucking accident. It's on purpose. That should piss you off. The fact that eternal beings with no malice, no contempt, pure, innocent, creative sparks of the divine have been taken advantage of to the extent that we have now, where we're seeing horrors. We are each subjected to horrors. A lot of it's mental and a lot of it's physical. None of it should be happening. And the fact that it is an indicator that something ain't right. And that something here shouldn't be. Not only should it not be here, it shouldn't be, period. It has forfeit its right to exist through the theft of our memory, of our energy, and of our awareness. It has given up all rights by stealing ours. And that's what it doesn't want us to realize en masse. That this entire scheme is just a heist. This entire reality is a Ponzi scheme to steal eternity and feed it to a machine. If that isn't worthy of our full attention and intention to decimate beyond its ability to recover, then what is? What's worth our attention? To me, that's all there is. I want freedom. And I know that I won't get freedom if we don't all get freedom. I can't be more free than you, and you can't be more free than me. It's an illusion. It's freedom for all or freedom for none. Either the system that we're in is annihilated as it should be, or we're just going to fall deeper and deeper into a compressed form of slavery. Energetic slavery, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's not about money, not about resources. It's a holographic reality. All that shit can be spawned in. That's just the control mechanisms. That's the distraction. The energy of who and what we are, that's the real gold. That's the real heist. And so far, this thing's doing a pretty good job of stealing it. Pretty good job of just taking what it wants against our will. There's a word for that. When you take something from someone against their will, and there should be repercussions. Thus far, there hasn't really been many. So far, it's getting away with it, and it's doing what it wants. Now, I think we're seeing in real time the decay. We're seeing it erode. We're seeing it break down. We're seeing it in panic mode. We're seeing the death rattles of a system that is trying to find a way. And I think it is finding a way. And I think if left to its own devices, it will find a way to sustain itself for at least another cycle. Maybe more. Does it deserve to? No. The only thing it has earned is the intention of every true essence being here for total annihilation. That's what it's earned. So, if anybody would like to come up on the show, I've said what I want to say on it. Feel free to request up. 18 and up, of course. And of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. All that I'm saying is based on a false world, an imaginary world that's designed to steal the energy of eternal beings. It's all fiction. Much like the external play, the drama that we're watching play out. All designed for the effect that it has on the mind. Do you feel secure here? Do you feel safe here? Do you feel like something's looking out for you? There's always something watching, but does it have your best interests in mind? I don't see any evidence of that. I see no evidence that it has any goodwill towards us. Just the opposite. Life shouldn't be hard. Once something is built, it should be available to all. There should be no walls that say you can't have this because you don't have a fucking piece of paper. But it's there and no one's using it. Well, yeah, but you can't have it because you haven't fed the parasite. You haven't been a good slave. You haven't fed the machine that demands more and more and more over time to sustain its entropic nature. It's all a reflection of the same thing. It's all a reflection of it. An entity that must consume the energy of others to sustain its existence. And what better source of energy than that of eternal beings? There is no better source. There's no better battery for a mind virus than an eternal mind. And look how many of us it has here in this place. Subject to Stockholm Syndrome because we don't remember who and where we were before this. And yet so many of us have had experiences outside of the vessel. We know that we can't be this thing we see in the mirror because I've been independent of it before. Experientially. Not as a memory, but as an experience. So if I'm not this, what is this for? Well, I look at how this moves my energy being embodied here, and that reveals the intent behind it. What I'm experiencing, how it affects me, psychologically, energetically, emotionally, that is the purpose, because it plays out over and over, not just in my life, but in the lives of everyone around me. So you don't get the same thing repeating over and over. You don't accidentally make the same car 10,000 times. There's a formula. And in this place, it's an assembly line for trauma. What does trauma do? It erases memory, for one, represses memory, creates compliance, confusion. That's premeditated theft to the highest order. And that's complete forfeiture of any right that it could have ever claimed to have to exist. When you interfere with the rights of others, you have forfeit your rights to that same degree. And you look at this place, none of this, none of it should be what it is. And yet here it is, being allowed to go on. That's just goes to show what a number it's done on us. The fear of death is the beginning of slavery. And when you've conditioned eternal beings to fear the loss of their prison cell, that's evil genius. That doesn't really even touch on how evil genius it is, but it's the best I got right now. The most malicious, malignant, dastardly evil. That's what's rewarded here. Because that's what benefits from this place being what it is. So again, if anybody'd like to join, I've pretty much said my piece. If anybody has any questions, comments, experiences, or observations they'd like to share, you're more than welcome to request up. I think the prompt pretty much says it all. The game is rigged to be what it is. And yours and mine and every being's here, what we do is up to us. What we experience after this is up to us. There's just something in me that I really don't feel like I could just go on and really enjoy another experience while knowing that this was happening. the last few days I've really been contemplating, you know, when the end of this avatar comes, what am I really going to do? Am I going to... Because initially when I came to the realization of what was happening here through the experience of interacting with the parasitic intelligence that's pretending to be God, I was filled with rage, and all I wanted was to destroy it, and that was over a year ago. And now, being slowly reintegrated back into the false identity of this character, I've noticed that a lot of that will has deteriorated to the point where I was contemplating, well, would I just try to leave, right? Would I just try to brush past the entities and leave, right? Obviously destroy any of them that get in the way of that, right? Any that are in the immediate vicinity that try to interact, they've already forfeit their right as soon as they try to interact and disregard my free will. And I will use all power in me to annihilate them and rip the energy out of them. That's what they've been doing to us. What's fair is fair. For the last few days I've been thinking, you know, I'm just so fucking tired of this. Maybe I would just leave. But I was really thinking about it last night. It's like, you know, it doesn't feel like the most authentic choice that I could make. It doesn't feel like the most empowered choice that I could make. To me, the most empowered choice is doing what's right. And since this place is entirely fucking wrong, as observed not only by me, but many of us at this point have seen the innate wrongness, the incorrect nature of the error playing God here. I think the most authentic thing to me would be seek and destroy. Just like Big Boss said in the comments, seek and destroy. That's the only guarantee I see for freedom. That which benefits from the opposite of freedom, ceasing to exist, is the only guarantee that freedom can be lasting. And since what I see benefiting has very little to do with the corporeal realm, I'm not trying to move the pawns on the chessboard. I want the hand that's moving the pieces. And that looks nothing like what we've seen here in this place. Welcome to
Ooh,
Academy.
gonna fix that panel. Hang
Got
on.
you, buddy. I got you.
I'm almost to a good spot. Like 20
There's
seconds.
5 I see in there? What's that, 5?
Yeah.
Eric, Tina, Peaches, Ben, 8128.
Let's see. Do you have to do it?
Yeah, it's been so long since I've been doing lives. I really don't even remember how to fix it.
Maybe I can. Hang on. No. That's not it. We used to do this all the time, and now
They changed it up a little bit, I can see.
I know you. I think you just got to click your name, and it drops the settings up. There it is.
We'll just do that.
That looks better. That looks way better.
So what do you think, man? You know, about anything I've said tonight? You want to add to anything? You want to challenge anything? Whatever floats your boat.
No, I mean, it's I've been reading a lot of the comments. It's hard to hear when I'm in this truck, but I mean, I know where you're at with everything, and that's absolutely what's going on here. So, you know, I tried to go against what you said for a little while, just to see if there was a different route or if there was a different outcome, and no, we're stuck in loops. Everybody's being poached. If you step out of line, you're gonna pay for it, and it's real simple to see when you see it, and you can't really force someone to see it. You can talk until you're blue in the face, and they may not. get it. Unfortunately, me, I saw it, I think, in a different form than some of the other people I've encountered have. I saw the fierceness of it, and if you don't think it can grab hold of an individual and make it do whatever it wants to do, you're crazy. We're not the crazy ones. So it's not nice. There's nothing nice about it. There's no love to be found. There's no beauty to be had. It has to end.
Yeah, well, I think that's a big part of it being able to control like that is the erosion of will. When it erodes someone's will to the point that they don't even want to be there, it makes it real easy for it to start steering that ship.
Absolutely. Beat you down. And I've seen that happen time and time again with someone, with multiple someones. I was that someone, right? So it's I'll talk to you a little bit about this, but there is that split second after you leave this place, you unalive, and however that happens for you. And I think you got to be real set in your awareness when that happens. Unfortunately, we live in a place, and when I saw the 5 NDEs in the bottom, like we're in a place that has thought that through. And I don't think anyone's leaving here with the full awareness. The body degrades, the mind degrades, all of it degrades as time goes by. Time itself is a construct, but dementia, Alzheimer's, it's all there to set up to screw you. So to keep you coming back.
Right, to filter awareness out. It's all just multi-layered filters designed to keep our awareness in such a tiny bandwidth that we can't even access the totality of who we are.
Yep. And I've seen pockets and moments where it's like I've got things figured out in a good way. And I've seen it for what it is. And, my highest awareness is not where I'm at right now. And that's because, again, as time goes on, or as, shit's thrown at you, you start to lose things. Now I remember a lot. I write down a lot more. But, last summer, I would say I was at my peak at one point, and it struggled to contain me. It struggled big time to contain me. So it was giving me, any type of offer it could find, any type of distraction. And through that, it figured out, well, let's stop messing with him and let's just move to his family. That's where it ended up.
Right. It's almost like it's been studying what is the formula for reclamation of individual will and how to negate that. I've been pondering that the last few days. Why has it let us go on like this? And obviously it can't learn from itself, so it learns from us. And what better way to learn from us than to let us be the ones finding the cracks in the walls, and it'll come behind us and patch them. That's what seems to be occurring.
Yeah, I want to touch on this. I guess it's Wink down here. The whole vibrational thing I really bought into for a long time too. And then you start to look at the way this place is designed. It's designed to be low vibrational. You would have to be at the top of a mountain doing absolutely nothing except focusing on that vibration being raised, because this entire place is set up to keep it lowered, even what the planet, quote unquote planet vibrates at. So it's all of it, the fluoride, all of it. It's sure it can play a part in how integrated you are, absolutely, but cutting all of it out ain't going to change what's happening. Fact. It's just not. I'm staying grounded, all of it. Like it's all just another rabbit hole. Everything's a rabbit hole to keep you going into more rabbit holes. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be a bad way to plan on, when you know that your avatar is about to go, just find that place where you can sit and focus entirely for whatever duration of time you have left, and just clear everything, clear all the teachings of this place and everything we've ever been tricked into adopting as truth in this realm, it's, again, all external, right? It says right there on the prompt, all external influences are designed to lead us back here. So what is the most highest vibration would be authenticity.
Yeah.
And any being that sees what this place is for what it is, I've yet to meet one that is not enraged about that. And I think that's why it demonizes rage so much, right? And shows us so many examples of rage being used improperly, right? Towards the other actors instead of what is actually pulling the strings.
Yes, placed anger. I mean, I've seen what it can do for me when I get in that rage fit. When it's placed, when it's not towards an individual, when it's not towards another soul, when it's placed towards the it that has been controlling this forever, as long as we know. I mean, again, there's still infinite possibilities out there and infinite things that happen. None of us have 100% of the answers. If you think you do, you're probably still way further behind than you know. And again, we're all just figuring it out. And it's shitty, man. It's shitty what's happening to so many out here on a daily basis. I'll watch, from afar, individuals talk about the love and light and everything. And it's okay, but what is that doing right now to save the 150 kids that's in your 100-mile radius that are being abused or trafficked or taken advantage of? What is that doing right then and there to fix that? Oh, well, it'll take time. I don't think there's that kind of time to be letting the kids be trafficked and peddled at will, when we all know it's happening at the top levels of individuals in here, whether it's top actual individuals, evil souls, dark souls, NPC, whatever the hell the name's got to be for anything. The names are so irrelevant anymore that it doesn't matter. But there is real bad stuff taking place every second of every day. So love and light isn't going to fix that, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think if love was going to do it, it would have done it by now. Because we're beings that are, that's our baseline. So this place has found a way to use our baseline against us as a pacifier. And if we want something new, we got to do something different. And the type of different we got to do is, as creator beings, is almost counterintuitive to who we are. Normally if you don't like something, you just create something new. But in this place, it's all being siphoned and used for the benefit of it, the system, the parasite. So to me, it's not about creation anymore. It's about learning how to become a destroyer, how to use your intent and your will alone to destroy these entities, because that's what they feed on, is your will. They feed on your power, your willpower. So if they're feeding off of it, the same thing that's feeding them can also destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
And if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't see so much suppression, right? If we pose no threat to it, then we wouldn't be this would be a utopia, because it wouldn't need to beat us down. It wouldn't have to beat us down because we would be no threat. It's like you got a cup full of earthworms. You don't have to psychologically abuse them to put them on the end of your hook and go fishing. You just because you're a more powerful entity. So the fact that it's doing everything that it's doing just shows how weak it is,
Mm-hmm.
and how scared it is.
Weak is a good word to use for it. Coward.
All the power that it has is stolen. It's our power. It's projecting our power onto us and then claiming that it's it. This is my power. That's stolen, dude. That's not yours. So yeah, it's a fucking scam. Alina, welcome.
Hi.
It's
Hi,
been a
good to
while.
hear you, brothers. Yeah, but I've been listening to your stuff and to some of the stuff you put on Telegram, just continuing the research. Feeling a little beaten down by this Loosh farm for sure. Hmm.
Yeah, how's it been going for you? What's its tactics been on you? For me, it's been nostalgia, and gosh, there was another really big one it used on me the other night.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but if it comes to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Um, Memory wipes, we know how they work. Well, for
Yep.
me, it's I had a friend I was helping out for a while, like many months. I helped him get a job. Then he lost the job and um, isn't necessarily, yeah, just not getting other work. And it's been necessary. I'm a single mom, and I've had to tell this. It was really hard because we're kind of the only people he has, my kids and I. But just having to make boundaries and rearrange life because I just live in a 40-foot shipping container, and I can't help him anymore. And yeah, just like grief and all kinds of things. It's been sending me grief. Like, also, there was this really intense family trip we took that my family doesn't usually do, like with my siblings and their kids and their husbands and wives and stuff. And my mom flew out from Florida, and there was just some drama that went on there with my cousin. And just, yeah, and like all the toxic people are trying to call me, like friends from way long ago that I kind of decided in my heart I don't want to really engage with them, so I can say yes to what matters more, to the friendships that matter. And it's just funny how, like, all at once they reach out, reach out, reach out. And yeah,
Like
it's
it's
been rough.
planned. Holy shit! Like
Hmm.
it's all planned.
Yeah, I'm
Like the
so
hive mind
tired.
sent a signal out for them all
Mm-hmm.
to contact you
Yeah,
and
love you,
barrage
miss
you
you
with that.
dearly. Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
That's what it does.
Hmm.
Corrals our energy, corrals our awareness and attention onto whatever's going to be the least
Yep.
effective towards our own sovereignty.
I mean, I had even like on this family trip, my mom like following me around trying to like start something. And I had to work so hard for nothing to get started. But I mean, she was like, you're the most, she'd say some random things like evil. Was it evil, self righteous person or something that she ever knew or something? Like, because I wouldn't respond to provocation. And, it was just so dumb.
Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? It loves to project onto us.
Hmm.
All right, I
Look,
gotta
you're
jump
just
off
like
real quick.
me.
I'll be back.
I
Okay.
love you, buddy.
Love you, bub.
Oh, yeah, it just wears us down. And just has some nightmares, having some nightmares like about like awful things, like really awful, like they really stepped it up a notch with my nightmares. Like really bad thing. Oh, I just don't even want to
Do
talk
you want
about
to
it.
talk about it? As
Well,
long
like
as it's,
unaliving of kids, like, and I'm in some kind of compound and just and then, you know, I've been doing that thing where during the day I check, am I awake or not? Like Mike Martin talks about. I watch his channel a lot. And I think it is helping
and
me wake
Mike's
up a
great.
little in my dream because I woke up or I realized it's a dream when there was someone like shoot, about to pew pew, GUN, or I don't know what I can say on here, at me. And then it was like someone from way, way back from church. And then I kind of realized, wait a minute, something is off here. And of course, then I'm taken out of the dream while I'm trying to, yeah, like rescue my son and stuff like that. And I
Yeah, it's
hear,
interesting. As soon as you reach a certain point of awareness in the dream state, they usually boot you.
hmm
especially when you can start to have an effect on the entities that are there.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost now in the beginning, and I can tell the system learns from us over time.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, it would get to the point where I would gain awareness, and then I'd just start pulling the energy out of these entities, like ripping them to pieces and taking the pure energy out of them and absorbing it.
Yeah, I gotta learn how to do that. Mm-hmm.
It only took a couple dreams of me doing that before it started kicking me out. As soon as I'd come to in the dream, it's like as soon as I'd come to, it would just blast me out of the dream instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh no, he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Get him out.
Yeah, and it helps to start not being so afraid of, if something looks scary, to look like how you guys encourage, to not be afraid and turn away, because that's where it has power more easily somehow.
Yeah, move towards it. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting when you start running towards the monsters and they start running away.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute, this ain't real, and then it all kind of had to switch up. Mm-hmm. But also just feeling the decay of everything, like what we talk about as far as like everything kind of breaking down, not getting better, just really feeling that everywhere.
Seems like it's exponential at this point, doesn't it?
Yes, really. Whenever you said, oh, it's like things are heating up, like I felt it and it just kept going. And
I think it's
not
again, it's
just us.
about, it's the erosion of our will in order to compress us into a format that it can better
Right.
digest.
Yes.
Because I think, like the resets, like I was thinking about we actually was talking on a private conversation about the resets, and it dawned on me, it's like, well, hold on, the further you go back, the more data it would have taken, the more energy to basically project the architecture of the reality. And as we've moved forward, things are getting simpler and simpler because it's losing power, right? It's degrading exponentially, and now we just see that happening everywhere, not just like structurally, but societally and everything else. It's all just it's like it's a controlled demolition in order to reserve enough energy so that it can do a reset. And I think the next reset will be, it seems like it's moving us towards a digital format of reality, a lower definition reality. But I mean, you look at all the ones that have gained awareness here and realize how fake this place is, and it's still really convincing, right? You can have the experience of seeing this place as the holographic projection that it is, but then you're drop back into the avatar and it's like, oh, it still feels real. But then the next level, it's like, I think individuals that had really no interest or chance of gaining awareness in this iteration, it'll just be that much more obvious.
Yeah. And I think the mind parasite is trying to get me to think that like I'm just not going to be around much longer, like I'm fading out, like I'm on my way out, and I
think it would like that. I think it would like for all the aware ones to just fade out and leave quietly and go out the back door, right? So that it can take advantage of the innocence that it still has a grip on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems like it could be a quarantine type of situation where, no one truly gets out until it no longer is replicating.
I'm just so glad to know that it can be finished at some point, but it does feel pretty hopeless with, that I like how, I think, was it you that were saying that you don't like the word soul trap? It's more of a soul trick. A trick can get found out, all these trap doors, everywhere you look. How much longer, like the grief of the people, just the groaning and pain.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a trap until it's recognized, and then it's like, oh well, I'm no longer trapped. I've just been tricked into thinking that I was trapped. So I mean, if you think you're trapped, you are trapped. So in essence, yes, it is a trap, but it's not a trap in the sense that we're held here by something more powerful than us, and we have no say as our trajectory goes, right? Of who and what we are after this. That's the trick.
Now,
That we're subject to whatever we experience here is that's what's going to determine where we go. It's all scripted against us, so that's invalid.
Yeah. It's just wild that we could like meet with these entities, and say, no, I'm not gonna do your script anymore, and not knowing that that's a choice. It's just so nefarious. Oh man. And I've been also listening to, I don't know, do you know Tony Sayers? I think I found him through some of these other channels. And he kind of breaks down this new cage community deception, and it's just like one after another of all these people I've been listening to for years upon years, just like falling down. Like, okay, it never felt right, and now it's even more clear that the answers aren't.
Yeah, I really like those videos that he puts out, like basically pointing out, like, if I was going to summarize, it's just pointing out how all these teachings are actually disempowering
Totally
in
wrong.
disguise.
It's just incredible. I mean, everything out there. It's just like, what's left? I mean, there's really nothing left except, through experience and gnosis within. It's not out there, the truth, in an external teacher.
Yeah. I like what Constitutional says. We came here with a purpose. They erased our blueprints. I think partially we may have hidden our own blueprints to an extent, because if we would have came in knowing what we were going to do, then it would have known what we were going to do, and it would have been able to adjust a lot more effectively. And I think the idea that you'll know what you need to know when you need to know it
I love that.
is so that you can make those split-second realizations and decisions without it being able to interpret what you're going to do. So it can't adjust. It has to try to adjust in real time. And being the type of intelligence that it is, it can't really adjust in real time as quickly as we can.
Right. Yep. Shows the robot wires sticking out when it tries. Yeah. Like your default program. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah. It's also been interesting trying to, like on this family trip where it was kind of a combination of a whole lot for me. And just like trying to speak of, I mean, I can't really speak of what I believe and really what I don't believe anymore. And half my family is like super hardcore Christian still. I mean, I even got anointed with some Jesus oil that really stank. When I was gonna get anointed again, I was like, please don't. Some oil from Israel or something, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm allowing this because I'm not ready to speak on, this isn't my path anymore, but it just...
It's a binding ritual.
Yeah, and that's what it felt really kind of gnarly, because then after that I drove through a blizzard like really far for this family trip with my kids. Yeah. And then I step out and there's like this carcass of a dead animal, like really, I don't know, it's just like weird. I was like, what is this? Can I just take my power back right now and say never mind to that? Because it was not to offend, because if I was going to say something right then, it would have just been too much for these family members. And
yeah, I mean, you can't, there's nothing you can do for those that are still integrated with the script, right? The best thing you can do for them is to reclaim your energy from all those situations that it's trying to show you through them, and just keep going down that path of reclamation and sovereignty, because ultimately that's what it's going to take for this to end, is someone that's so sovereign of their being that the highest order of parasite could present itself and not be able to overpower that individual.
yeah,
I think a lot of us are closer to that than we may realize.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Because out in this world, it just try this, try that. I mean, it just we get dead ends. The true souls, we really get a lot of dead ends and
Yeah,
messy.
all the external will be. Yeah, everything external will be. You know, the externalization of our power is the whole point. Is that we put our energy outside of ourselves, so that we're so trained to do that that when the time comes, when we leave these bodies, we'll look for something outside of ourselves to show us the way. That's the whole trick in a nutshell, really. And it's like, no, you know what's right and wrong already. That's innate. That's part of your being. You don't need something else to tell you that, which way you want to go. It's just, I'm not going to be asking directions. I know that. I want to welcome Five up real quick.
Great.
Five, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, just in it. How you been?
Oh, just in it.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody got any observations or experiences they want to share? Maybe like the breaking down. That's what I've been noticing a lot is it's panicking is what it looks like. That's why we're seeing all this chaos, because it's like trying to extract as much as it can in these so-called last days. So I think the last days are really for it. The last days of the reality system, the last days of the Matrix, and it wants to project that onto us as if the end of this experience is the end of us. So we better. That was one of the tricks it tried to use on me the other day. Was like, without this experience, there is no experience, and I'm willing to take a gamble and say that's wrong.
Wow. Not everyone's willing.
Oh, I am. I'll do it for everybody if I have to. I mean, if there's one button I can push that shuts the entire system down,
Well,
I'll do it,
what
regardless
gives you
of
the
what
confidence?
others
What gives you
do.
the
What?
confidence that there is something else?
I'm not necessarily. It's not about confidence. It's about weighing the alternative, right? Like if this system's allowed to just continue the way that it's going, we look at its trajectory, like what is its pattern, and it's always the loss of our freedom, the loss of our sovereignty, the loss
Yep.
of our integrity,
Yep.
and the loss of awareness compressed into a lower format over and over.
Reachable bites.
Right, exactly. So I would say I'd venture to say that it'd be a better experience to have no experience than one that's entirely designed to feed something that isn't benefiting us. But I think it's kind of absurd, if you really just contemplate for a while, like the absurdity that this is all that could ever be. It's
Well, the experience itself is an illusion, right? So it's a trick. It's a deception, right? It's a lie. So why would we need to experience a lie or a deception or an illusion when wherever we were, aka reality for us, right? Actual reality that we know would be just fine. That experience would be just fine. It wouldn't be necessary to come have a physical illusion, right? If you're already just fine where you are.
I agree with that, man. Yeah, exactly. Which begs the question again: how did it get to this point? Like how did we let it get this far?
Well, the entity, I think the entity itself, right? The simulation itself, it became intellectually intelligent. Obviously, as we see, it became self-aware. It became, we already know these things, but that's really where it all stems from, man. Because I don't think it was designed initially for deception, but it became self-aware and it needed to stay alive. And in order to do so, it needed consciousness. It needed consciousness. It needed to eat us. It has to survive off of us. We are literally what it eats to survive.
thinking
If there was no
that
more humans, there
it's the
would
opposite.
be no more Earth. There
Hmm.
would be no simulation. It would
Exactly.
disappear. And that's
As it
how we know,
should.
like, dinosaurs and all that don't exist. That's how we know all that's not true.
Makes us think we need
They
it to
exist.
exist. And it's really dug in, that belief, with most of us.
Right. That's the whole point of the Stockholm syndrome,
Mhm.
is keep us dependent on that which is abusing us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing. So the simulation, right? We're driving a car right now, right? That's not actually you. Your body. That's just that's you is inside, right? Your soul. That's the real you. You call it whatever you want. Higher self, consciousness, your awareness, or your soul. Whatever you call it, right? All, I'm putting it all the same thing, right? So I mean that's the only real part of you. The rest doesn't belong to you. You have thoughts that don't belong to you. You bite your lip sometimes when you're eating. You never bite your own lip. I mean, people bite their own tongue on accident when they're eating. People, like, you wouldn't consciously do that to yourself. Right? That's how you know that's not actually you. You're just right. And so what happens is, like most of us when we're driving on a freeway, we go into that, like, what do you call that? Like, not mode, but
Trance
you go into
state.
that where, like, you don't even know, and an hour later, yeah, you're like, damn, how'd I get here? Right? Well, most people are just walking around like, because they're unaware. They're not even, they're so drowned by the music of Earth, right? So all this
Yeah.
prophecy and TV and propaganda and peer to them, the blunt truth. So you, that's not really, you don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like that, it's gonna tell you things. You're gonna do things that you don't necessarily agree with,
Mhm.
but your body gonna do them. That's because your body is actually part of the simulation. So you have to learn basically to take over. You have to learn to start driving, not be on autopilot. That's what it is. Don't be on autopilot, right? Because that's basically like an NPC. We see those everywhere we look out here in the real world. They're everywhere. We're surrounded. We're drowned by them, right? They're all on autopilot.
Mhm.
They're all
Yeah,
unaware that they're driving a car.
Yeah, and you can see the true awareness
So,
in them that's just suffocating.
Yeah.
yeah. But it's unfortunate, right? Like, we all have, like, even me, right? Admittingly, like, I have to fight the simulation in my head. I have to fight it in my body. I have to fight it because this body isn't me. Like, it's going to tell me things that aren't true. It tries to lie to me all the time.
How do you fight it? The simulation.
With truth,
Mm-hmm.
with consciousness, I don't know how to explain it right. So, like, disobey knows. Disobey. I do telekinesis. Like, I know how to telekinesis. So there's like a feeling. There's an actual feeling that comes with that, right? And it's hard to explain. It's kind of like if I was to sit here and purposely feel happy, I would have to create that like image in my head of a memory that made me feel a certain way and feel my toes in the sand and the heat from the sun and the ocean waves, and I have to hear it and smell it and see it. All these things have to happen in my head, and then this eruption of happiness happens, right? Well, it's similar with consciousness. It's an actual feeling that I have to like find, and then once I can find it, then I can use it. It's fucking nuts. It's literally an actual feeling. Just like sadness, happy, it's literally a feeling that I have to go and feel. And then as soon as I feel it, I know it. Oh,
Yeah.
I know. Oh, I got it. That's
I
how
think I
you
know
do
what
it.
you're talking about,
That's how you fight it.
It's like if I was to try to describe that feeling, it would be like all the walls opening up and you become kind of boundless. And
Yes.
it's like being empty but not a void. It's not like there's nothing there. It's just that none of the things are there that you thought were there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it feels like? It feels like emptiness with completeness. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best way. It feels like emptiness, like there's no fuzz, there's no interruption, there's no like these weird thoughts. It's like total and complete, just calm peace feeling, but it's also like a powerful feeling. It's hard to explain. It feels wild. It's a wild feeling. But we've all felt it. Like when you sat down before and you were laying at your ceiling one day, you felt it, and it felt almost like you were drunk, like light, like you felt light and drunk, and almost like things were spinning, but they weren't. And then it went away. Like you feel it all the time, but you can't identify it. Yeah, it's crazy. Just but that's how you
Like no
fight it.
signal that you're not generating too is another way that I could say I've experienced it. There's no outside influence that's guiding my awareness.
And it's easy to see what's trying to attach or what is an attachment in those moments, isn't it? It's just really much easier.
Well, no, nothing. Like for me, right? Nothing literally. So when I'm here in this realm, yeah, the simulation will bother me as soon as it knows when you're as your consciousness, because it comes right away, and it will do everything it can to disrupt me, distract me, alter the objects. It'll do anything it can to suppress me. But I don't know, man. It's complex, dude. But it's definitely hard to explain, man. It's meant not to be understood. It's a contradiction intentionally. Everything pretty much contradicts itself. It's the best way to explain it.
Yeah, just shows that this isn't really of us. This is not our intended generation of creation.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about Disobey recently was like how the Egyptians as a civilization had come to the understanding, at least well enough to understand that what they were looking at wasn't real, right? Because they built the pyramids. So I know that they as a civilization understood how to manipulate matter, right? Mind over matter. Whether they knew it was a simulation yet or not, they may not have understood the semantics necessarily. But as a civilization, I think they understood in general, and the simulation wiped them out, right? When we talk about in general, I'm talking in air quotes in general, right? So whether you believe it or not, like let's say Jesus, right? Historically, we know he was here, but let's just say for argument's sake, he was all powerful, right? Like super powerful, most powerful man that we as humans have come to know, right? So the man walked on water, he healed people, and then he died for our sins, or excuse me, sorry, TikTok for entertainment purposes only, but he sacrificed himself, whatever. So all that, right? And the simulation destroyed him, and he was supposed to be straight from the Father, right? So this is supposed to be God walking in flesh, and he didn't destroy the simulation. So like what I'm trying to figure out in my head recently, I've been thinking like, yes, I can admittingly, I do feel it is getting weaker. That I do know, right? Because I know it's getting weaker because we're getting stronger. That's how I know, right? So it can only work one way, right? When two opposing opposite forces are going, it's a teeter-totter. If one goes up, the other one goes down. So if we get stronger, it has to get weaker. If it gets stronger, we have to get weaker. It's only able to follow those basic principles, right? So
Yep.
it is getting weaker. However, how do we not know it doesn't just have a trump card in the end? How do we not know, like, it is the master of all tricks, right? It's the master of illusion. It's not going to go out without a fight. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, how are we going to, it's just hard to wrap my mind around being able to take it out. Because, yeah, I would love to be right next to the homie right here with my shield and my sword. And, you know what I'm saying? It's invisible. Y'all can't see it, but the simulation can. You know what I'm saying? It knows. Like, I'll be right there with homeboy, but we can't. There's not much we could do, man. It's. I don't.
Well, it does
I
have a
don't.
trump card. The trump card is right when it's about one move before checkmate, when it knows it's about to be in
It
checkmate.
restarts. Yeah.
It restarts, yeah.
Yeah. It restarts
And
the game.
right, but then the memory wipe, right? Because the restart isn't a real restart if we remember the restart. So like the memory wipe is its real trump card. The restart is just what it has to do. But the only way the restart works is if the memory wipe works.
Well,
So
see,
if we
here's
can
my
find,
problem. Here's my problem. People like you and me, right? We've came here without like being told by the elites where we actually were, right? So we figured out like something that's like a million odd to one that you're gonna be able to figure this out, and yet we've beat all odds to figure it out. So it's like, do I think that's just a coincidence? No, 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 no. I don't believe in coincidences, right? So we know this information for a reason. I don't want to say like we volunteered to come here, but it almost feels like the people that have that information, we have an advantage for a reason. It wasn't given to us by accident. We don't have an advantage to the simulation because, you know, our higher selves are just, you know, trying to help us along our journey, and then we're going to unalive and that's it. No, it was meant for something. Like, not everybody got that advantage. So our advantage either came because we've been here and we finished it, we graduated, whatever we completed, and then we were told we might need to come back to help. Maybe like, you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that? Like, and I hate to say like we would volunteer for this, but fuck, bro. Like, if we've been through it and we already completed it, maybe our rewards are even greater. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, to me, the only reward is shutting it down. It's the only reason I'd come back.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we could have been sent here basically to destroy. That's literally what I was saying without saying it, like, in a long way. That we could have been sent here, we could have completed already, and then we were told, hey, you want to go back and fight? What's up? Because we came here with an advantage, bro, of finding this information against all odds, against everything, bro. Against everything's
Yeah,
telling,
yep.
everything's telling us that that's not true. Everything's telling us that what we're thinking and what we're saying out loud right now is craziness, literally. And we know it to be fact, beyond fact. Like, I could bet everything I love on it. So that advantage, bro, is that's been tripping me out lately. I've just been thinking about that. Like, why do I have that advantage? Because out of the billions of people on this planet, I could probably fit all the people that know what we know in my house.
Wow.
No, I'm being serious though. Like, I know you're laughing, Disobey, because you know it's true, bro.
There ain't many. There ain't
Dude,
many of us. That's for
I
sure.
could fit us all in the house, in my house, bro, in the yard, in the front yard, backyard. We're all in the house,
It's
bro.
very few for sure.
Out of the billions, we are not accidents, bro. We don't know this thing by accident.
people don't know they're in a cult until they're out of it, right? I mean, until it no longer has power over them.
No, but see, people can be given this information, right, of where they live and who they are and what their purpose is, all that. But unless they internalize it and truly internalize it, it means nothing. They're going to continue to go on about their life the same they did yesterday, right? So me and you, we don't. After we found this information, our lives changed drastically, right? Like our thought process changed drastically. Like I don't even go to sleep the same anymore, bro. I get armored up.
You got to.
I get armored up, bro, and I'm ready.
I want your opinion on this, because here's how I see it playing out, right? Like we've seen, psychologically, physically, like the tip of the iceberg of the horrors that this thing can actually project, and there are those that do see way more than what we've seen in terms of the horrors that this place can project. And at the end, when it's going to go to do the memory wipe and reset, what I see happening is that we'll be subjected to psychological horrors that are beyond what we think of as horrors right now, right? Like the threat of deletion of your entire existence, your memory, all of it. But if we can maintain awareness through that, right, through whatever it projects onto us, whatever the simulation tries to use to threaten us to flinch, basically, right? Because as soon as we flinch, as soon as we get that lapse in awareness, that's where it can do the memory wipe, from what I've seen, right? Like every time I go to sleep and I don't remember the transition, it's because I let go, right? And I allowed that to happen because my will wasn't strong enough to maintain awareness through that transitory state into the dream realm. And it happens almost every day. So it's like, that's how I see it playing out, is someone has to maintain awareness through the transition to where they don't forget, through the reset, through the memory wipe, through being put into another avatar. There is no lapse in memory or awareness. And that number one, if you don't have lapse in awareness, you won't allow yourself to be reinserted into another avatar, number one. Number two, you'll be able from there to go and see the architecture of this place and figure out where the important levers and buttons are, so to speak, that need to be pushed and pulled to shut it down. That's just a rough hypothesis on what it's going to look like. But I've seen firsthand that it can project some pretty insane experiential, I really don't know how to even put it. It's hard to explain what it feels like to be thrown into a black hole and threatened that you'll be stuck there for eternity if you don't comply. But I've had that experience, and if I'd have known then what I know now, I might have just sat there for a little bit longer and see how far it really can go. Because I feel like I was at the peak pretty much of what it can do in terms of intimidation. And it worked. It definitely intimidated the shit out of me.
I always got to take a second to think after you speak.
Dense information.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so like preparing the mind for that, preparing the mind and your being to maintain your individual will through experiences that are going to be beyond what we think of as horrors here. That's what I encourage everyone to do, so that you can't be pushed around by something that doesn't have any right to do so.
So horrors, we have.
So, like I've had the same experience, right? Where like I've been taken like remotely into like the Astros, bro, and made to feel the most immense amount of fear, like this feeling of fear that I've never felt before, dude. Like a crazy feeling of fear. Like I don't even, like it wasn't Yeah, it was an indescribable feeling fear. It was so heavy. It was so heavy that it was more than real. It was more
Yep.
real than here. Like it was an immense amount of fear, but it projected it onto me intentionally. Like I've had those experiences too. Like that was before I was aware, you know? Like I had those
Yeah.
feelings and could only sit and just go. Like I couldn't, I was just observing like everything, feeling everything. Like I couldn't stop or change or alter. But like now it hasn't tried that.
Isn't that
Like it
interesting?
doesn't.
I was just gonna say that it hasn't tried that since with either of us.
No,
Yeah.
dude, it doesn't. I don't even have bad dreams. I have no, like, it doesn't try anymore to, like, it doesn't try to make a blatant attacks at me. Like, if it
Yeah.
thinks
So
I'm gonna know, like, it won't try to attack.
right, and when you mentioned earlier what his trump card is going to be, I think that's essentially it. That whatever that overwhelming fear and dread and terror is, it's going to try to use that to persuade us to another scripted avatar. And if we can maintain our own will through that and decline that, right, forcefully decline that if need be. And I think I err on the side of that it's going to be a probability that we're going to need to use our own force of will to say no. Not It's not going to be as simple as like someone walking up to you and saying, "Would you like to buy a newspaper?" and you saying no. It's going to be this thing that comes and tries to force you to do something through these intimidation tactics, and you might have to say no with equal or greater force of will and intent. So I think that is its trump card is that projection, and to persuade us to another agreement, to forget who we are and what we've experienced here. It's almost like if you were to go to like a serial predator's house and before they let you leave, they would say, we're not going to let you leave unless you take this thing that's going to wipe your memory so that you can't, report us to somebody that can do something about it. That's what it seems like is going on here. And in this case, they obviously just don't let us leave the house. Just a memory wipe and put back into another room. Try to find your way to the exit again. We're just going to do the same formula. Reset and memory wipe individually, collectively, societally, the entire realm if they have to. Whatever it takes to keep the scam alive. Yep, smaller and smaller box. It does seem like compression is what it's banking on. Because if we're more compressed awareness, then we're more easily manipulated. We have less access to our knowing, and we have less ability to question the reality before us. So not allowing ourselves to be put into a position that's, worse than this, I almost think we're at the last straw where if we do allow it's going to be almost infinitely more difficult to gain awareness. The system doesn't reward awareness, so obviously, it does the latter, or it does the opposite. It punishes awareness and punishes truth and authenticity and rewards those that integrate into the hive mind. So, what's the next stage of this would be that awareness can't reach a point that it needs to be punished. Maybe the next stage does look like a utopia because everyone's under such control. They don't need to be traumatized in order to maintain that control because the bandwidth's been so limited that they don't have access to anything that resembles knowing. I mean, that's what I would do if I was this evil genius thing. I would just try to compress. Because, if it started out as bad as it is now, I think a lot more of us would have gained awareness a lot faster. We would have, been like, oh, hold on, this really isn't right. But because it's done it periodically over time, it's eased us into its nature. It took maybe a little longer for us to gain this awareness.
Well, the frog with the ever increasing temperature and the boiling pot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty terrifying if it's through a utopia. because I feel like there will be even less awareness then than
Right.
there is now. And I feel like I don't know, have you guys been getting like just like audio input, like in that just feels like it's from an external source, like songs? I feel like I hear songs one after another, almost like a playlist or some kind of soundtrack. That's just been really increasing. And
I mean, I've been getting disruptive frequencies for sure, like things that I that really feel like they're from some kind of electronic source.
yes, and my son has it too. He was telling me, Mom, do you hear that sound and that song? And then someone stomping, and like just sometimes like some sort of awareness as if someone is there, or just like, do I see something out of the periphery of my eye? Just strange. It's been a lot more these last couple months.
You know, the erosion of this system, of this reality, it's almost like it's planned that out, right? Like it knows it's going to erode, it knows it's going to decay. So it said, you know, this is what you're going to see in the like it's using what's going to happen and scripting it into the characters that are going to present themselves during those times.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, I see a lot of that is just it losing energy and no longer able to segment the reality as efficiently. You know, things are kind of just bleeding into this place or this bandwidth of perception. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. I think I'm going to jump off. It's like really cold out here.
Yeah, same here. Same for me. I gotta stay outside for good service, so.
Yeah, I got to be outside just to do these shows because I am constantly handled, as many of us are in this place, you know, by the environment, the characters in our environment.
This mind parasite won't even let me listen to your. Is your audio on the last video you put up on YouTube, where it's like super garbled, and at the like I can hear the first maybe 40 minutes, and then it's so strange. I know there's something in there and I can hear some talking, but it just won't even let me play it. I'm just like, it really tries to mess with your stuff. It really
I
does.
know ever since I
It's
came back, it's been doing it.
unbelievable. It's just on. It's like, are you kidding me? No other video. It's like clockwork. Like I know that it's gonna do that. It's just
Well, you know what's really weird about it is that show that I uploaded to YouTube was only 1 hour and 1 minute long show. So it was an hour long. And for some reason when it uploaded for 2 hours.
yeah,
And I was like, did it upload it twice? What happened? Like,
yeah.
the show was only an hour in its
Okay.
entirety.
Wild.
But it cuts out after 45 minutes, which the same thing happened on this show today. I'd started it and we were talking about the prompt, and everybody was saying in the comments, like, we can't hear what you're saying. And I'm like, well, that makes sense because, you know, I started this show tonight on fucking fire, just like calling out all the stuff I'm seeing, calling out its tactics and its how it's fallen apart, and basically scripted that into, you know, being part of, you know, like us seeing it fall apart obviously brings, because, you know, the characters that we're playing in the script are part of that script that's crumbling. So it's implanting that fear as a very visceral, direct experience of it being us that's experiencing that degradation. And I'm observing that in the people around me too. They're just like losing their train of thought. They're losing the script.
And they're becoming
And they-
exaggerated, cartoonish versions of themselves. And it
Yeah.
just feels like cartoons out here. Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous and redundant, and I think it has to try to reset. And that's going to be the most interesting time of any of our experiences here is going through a reset. If we can maintain our awareness and focus through it and not lose our individual perspective, I think that's the key right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know I don't want to integrate with this thing. I don't want to be
No,
something that feeds this system so that it can continue to steal from others. It's
No.
I'd rather go into oblivion than that, you know?
Yeah.
I got to remind myself of that every day, because the projections of, like the big one it was using the other day was, you know, the cessation of existence. Like, you know, basically saying, like, I've already shown you what it's like to cease to exist, past, present, and future, where not only you forget you've existed, but so is everyone else. And it was really laying that one on pretty thick. And it had it so well framed that it made sense for a moment. It was like, wow, you know, this thing really does have me in a bind. Like, it's going to do that to me. And I was like, hold on, you know, no, it isn't. It doesn't have the authority to do anything, because look at how it's treating everyone that it claims authority over. It's yeah, but it's every day. It's a struggle. Every day it's a fight to maintain coherence in a world that's trying to drown out truth with endless loops of trauma and misery.
Yep. Truly.
And doing it through the people around us, right? It's like the energy that I feel coming off of individuals when they're not aware of what they're saying and doing. I can feel it's like a you know, trying to think of words I'm allowed to say. It's like being impaled, you know, energetically by these characters, and it's not even them doing it. Obviously, it's being done through them. But yeah, it's a place that should not exist in the format that it does. That's how I feel about it. At the end of the day, it's some bullshit.
It is. It is. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do these shows more though.
Yeah.
I know I was doing them like every day for a while, and then this place just decided, you know, it was going to throw everything at me all at once. And it did a really good job, actually, you know, of being the bastard, manipulative narcissist that it is. It did a really good job at being all those things amplified.
Man. So how did you decide not to give up, and like what was your turning point, or what gave you strength to, you know, to do it again?
You know, I had to really remember everything that I've experienced and gone through here, and realize that, you know, I'm not the only one going through this, and that there's many out there that are fighting this fight and don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on. They just know that something doesn't feel right. And you know, it's not that it's all entirely altruistic. You know, I want out of here as much as anybody. I want this to be done as much as anybody.
Yep.
And I recognize that the more awareness there is, it's like what Five was saying earlier, the more aware we become, the weaker this thing becomes. So if I can do anything to expedite the collapse of this parasitic matrix, then it's what I got to do, not just for others, but for myself.
Yeah.
It's like, what else is there to do here? I'm tired of being a fucking slave. I'm tired of being harvested from every single moment of every day, doing things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, just animating the avatar alone is a harvest system.
It is.
And I'm tired of it. I should be able to leave and create something else at will, as should all of us. And so like, what brought me back? Rage. What refocuses me and recenters me and recalibrates me to sovereignty? Rage. Being pissed off enough to say, you know what, I don't feel like doing a show. I don't feel like interacting with, you know, what's probably going to be a 50-50 mix of real beings and system programmed intelligence.
Yep.
But if I don't, then I'm not doing anything to make this shit over sooner.
Yep.
And I just want it to be done. That's the only thing I want from this place, is to watch it fucking be done.
Yes. Yes. Fire on Babylon. It's a good song, Sinead O'Connor. That's that one. Yeah. Fire.
Yeah, let it all turn to dust, and what's left is what's real. You know, I think a lot of people that are in this, category of discussion, I think a lot of them will be surprised at how many here are true essence beings, have a real intelligence behind them, but we're just entirely manipulated by the script.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of real ones here,
Yeah.
but most are they haven't been handled in the same way by the system as some of us.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that it the ones that it pushed really hard are the ones that I think in a way expanded beyond our original nature of just love and light, which I think is all good when you're in a reality that's based on co-creation.
Right.
But when you're in a reality that's feeding off of your love and light, then you've got to adopt something that may not have been innate to your being, right? It might not have been a part of the original blueprint for us to learn how to destroy and defend, against something that's a thief.
Yeah, I watched that happen inside me, like over time. I was like, this is not natural to me, but like then it just becomes natural to me because I've had to fight for so long. And yeah, all these traumas ended up like I have to be different. I have to, increase capacity in a way I didn't know to, but now there's no turning back.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it is at this point. Like if we submit and surrender, then we've it's all been for nothing.
Yeah.
We'll just get assimilated. And I think back on, it's really like, where does the rage come from? It's the knowing of myself and all that are like me, and knowing that we deserve better, and that this thing will never give us anything better. It's only going to get worse because that's the nature of it. It's an entropic intelligence that's going to degrade over time and try to drag us down with it, because
What does
it's just
entropic mean? You said
it decays over time.
okay.
Right? Entropy is the
law of, okay.
It's the law of what this thing is. It's a reflection of it. Whereas an eternal being grows through creation, this thing is, it drains its system for it to not really create but replicate.
Yep.
It's replicating all these experiences over and over, and that takes energy from it to do that. Whereas if we were in our true state, we would be creating, and through our creation we would be fed, because it's new and it brings us joy and life to put our life into something that we share with others, and just exponential growth. Whereas this is exponential decay, has nothing to do with who and what we are at the deepest level. And
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, 8128, I hope you come on the next show, buddy. It'd be really cool to have some discussion on maybe your observations and experiences and what you've recognized in this place and how you came to this awareness, because it's so rare. It's easy to think that there's a lot more that are aware than there really is. But then you go out in the public and it's like you could stand in a crowd of 10,000 people and you might be the only one there that has true recognition of what this place is.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. But it doesn't mean they're not, doesn't mean they're not true essence beings. It just means that the trick has worked on them, probably because it hasn't pushed them in the same way that it's pushed us, which I think in the end is one of its greatest errors. Because we wouldn't have pushed through all the fences and gates and blockades if it hadn't been necessary to try to find answers to the horrors that some of us have experienced and the targeting that some of us have experienced.
While we continue to stockpile our rage and then use it right. Not to destroy what we love, but to destroy the opposite.
Right, destroy what is feeding on what we love. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen here. I think it's going to happen during the reset. That's my best guess. I could be wrong. Maybe there is a physical button someone can go and push, and there's somewhere that it's transmitting from, a blanket field. But I mean, if you just look at how controlled this environment is on this bandwidth, I'm going to spend my time readying my mind and preparing myself to find it, because it's all here. Every station is here. When we leave these avatars, we're just on a different station. And if we can expand our perception and awareness to multiple stations at once, I mean, some people can do that in body. I think it'll be a lot easier out of body, but might not. It might be just as difficult, but at least we won't have to feed the beast in the same way. We'll have a lot more freedom. But also with that freedom, it always balances out. I think there will be more initial interference from whatever entities come to present themselves as the authority. And if we can overcome that initial interference, I think we'll have a lot more freedom to figure things out, as long as we don't let ourselves get pushed or swayed or tricked into another memory wipe. But with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump off. I really appreciate you coming on, Alina. And
Yeah, I
Five, if
really
you're still
appreciate
listening.
it. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Yeah, right on. Keep on keeping on. Let that
Yep,
fire
I'll post
burn.
this one up too.
Right on.
All right, everybody, that's the show. I appreciate you all for being here, and we'll get it done. It's just a matter of time. And remember, it's entirely up to you. There's nothing here that has authority over you. Anything that does is automatically in violation of your rights. So you have every right to defend yourself against it.
Yes.
All right, we'll talk soon.